I am part of the TMS Help Desk within Transportation Planning. For today's training, we are going to kind of go over a lot of the functions within the As Built Plans application. So how to search a record, how to enter a record. We're also going to go over TMS maps, kind of like do an overview of some of the functions there and how to find the As Built training or the As Built Plans layer. We're also going to go over the data zone map and some of the functions there, and then kind of go over a little bit of what metadata is and how it's created and what it's kind of used for. To start us off, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Ashley. She has a few things she wants to say before we get started.
Thanks, Haley. Yes, this is Ashley Booster, Assistant State Design Engineer in Central Office. Thank you, everyone, for joining. It looks like we have quite a few logged on today. We did have an in-person training for this. I think that's been about 2 weeks ago now. And I will say that we were done probably around 10 or 10:30, so I don't think we're going to take the full time here this morning. But essentially, back in 2016, 27 timeframe, there was a statewide team put together to make as-built plans available electronically, not only for internal staff, but also for external staff. We know we get a lot of requests from our external partners for as-built plans, and that consumes a lot of time for those that are out in the district. And so we wanted to create an as-built map where, like I said earlier, internal people can access and external people. However, when it comes to bridge plans, we wanted to make sure we lock down the security for the bridge plans to external customers. So if external customers do go to the map, if they want to get a bridge plan, it directs them to our Sunshine request process. So they can go through that process to get the as-built plans. But like Haley mentioned today, she's going to talk about the TMS application, the map itself. And one thing I wanted to point out before we got started, so we have as-built plans from years ago, but then we also have as-built plans for projects that get completed, say, recently, today, tomorrow, next week. And the process to add as-built plans for those new projects is actually run through eProjects. So when a project's completed, gets uploaded to, or goes through the as-built final plans process, gets uploaded into eProjects, there's an overnight process that runs that will automatically add those as-built plans to the map. So what Haley's going to show you today is if you want to manually upload an as-built plan, or you have an old plan that you need to upload, etc. She's going to show the application in TMS on how to do that. So just wanted to start you off with some background information before we get started and to see if there's any questions initially before I turn it back over to Haley. Okay, Haley, all yours.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so I am going to share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to start off by showing you how you can get to TMS. Depending on how many people actually use TMS on a daily basis, some may have it saved as one of their favorites. Some may have to go through the SharePoint page. So we're going to start off by going through the SharePoint. So you'll go to SharePoint, and then you can come down and you can go to TMS, and it's going to take you to our TMS homepage, where then you can go and find the application. As far as today, I am actually going to be working in our SIT environment. This is a testing environment. Please bear with me as we go through. Sometimes our testing environments can be really slow, and if for some reason I'm trying to show something and it's not wanting to come up, I may just kind of talk through it. Also, don't feel overwhelmed with everything that I show you or that we talk about. We do have an as-built plans manual that is on our TMS homepage that you can find that gives you step-by-step instructions of how to search a record, add media, enter a record. It will go over ARAN viewer and all the other maps as well. So don't feel overwhelmed by trying to retain all the information that we're going to give in this training today.
Haley, I am going to pause you for a moment too. So this
Yeah.
is really informal. So feel free to unmute if you have questions or type them in the chat. I'll monitor that for you, Haley, to see if there's any questions.
Okay, yeah, that would be great because I am by myself today, so I don't have anyone and I only have one screen, so I don't have my teams up to see any kind of chats, but we will definitely get to your questions if you have any.
Yeah, I didn't know what
Okay,
that meant.
so to start us off, this is the TMS homepage. How to get to the As Built Plans application is you're going to go to applications.
Primary.
And then you're going to go to Travelway Management System and then Asset Management. And then on the left-hand side, you'll have where you have a little plus sign for TMS. If you just click that, you're going to go all the way down to the bottom to Travelways. Expand that. Click Associatives. And then you're going to have your data types. So in here, we have a bunch of different data types. You can either start to type out as built, or you can just hit the drop down button to find that application. Okay, so now that we're in the As Built Plans application, this is where you can search a record that's already been entered. You can enter a record in, you can update, delete something that's in there, and we'll go through each function. So how I'm going to start us out is how to search. You can either search by county, name, you can search by travelway, you can search by an ID, travelway ID, your district, project number, or you can just display all and it will show you all of the records that have been entered for As Built. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and enter a route here. So we're going to do US 54 West. And it will drop down this little search box where you can kind of narrow it down more. I'm not sure why it's giving East. Like I said, sometimes our testing environment is a little touchy. Okay, so we have where you can select US 54 for the whole area, or you can kind of break it down more by counties. The more you enter, the more it will kind of narrow down your search. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to do US 54 West for the whole area. And it will show you what your travel ID is, your destination, travelway, direction, and your begin log and end logs. And it will also give you all of the records that have been entered for US 54. Now you have other options as far as menu. So you can get get opposing travelway. You can do advanced search. So if we want to do, so we'll do opposing travelway. If you click that, that's just going to switch it up and it's going to do US 54 East. And it's going to show you all the records within that area. You also have your advanced search. So if you click this, it's going to bring you to our LRS where you can narrow it down some more. So you can do travelway. You can do your travelway ID. You can do your GPS. Or you can do an intersection number. Whatever you have to search by, there's all these options that you can use. So for instance, let's just we'll do 54 again. And we'll do East. And then you hit search. And it will bring it up on this side. Select travelway logs. And it's going to give you everything in here as far as LRS and kind of your intersecting areas with 54. You can always narrow it down through county, city. If you have logs, you can narrow it down. And then depending on what you have in here, you can select it. So let's do route in. We're going to select that as the begin log. And we're going to select this as the end log. And then once you hit select, it's going to bring it up back to the main page, and it's going to show you anything within those log miles. Your other option is you can modify the logs. It'll kind of bring you back up to the LRS, and you can change whatever log miles you had in there to bring up a different section. You also have where you can do a map search. So within here, you can search through any of your roadways or travelways that you're wanting. And then from here, you can kind of change this as well. So we'll keep the route T as our start, and maybe we're going to change our end location. And we're going to come down here and we're going to select end. So now those logs have changed, and we're going to just hit submit, and it will bring you back again to the main page with the different log miles and show you any records that are within that area. Another way to search is you can do map search by area. This one is a little bit more intense. So say, let's back up here. All right, say we want to do US 50. If you select here and then you hit submit, it's going to pull up any kind of records within that area that you selected on the map. There's not an easy way. That one is kind of not an easy way to narrow down anything. It just gives you one large section that you click on, and it will bring up anything in that area. Your last thing is your ARAN viewer. Depending on what route you have entered, you can always, if you're wanting to see an actual street view of it or a road view of it, you can use the ARAN viewer. Kind of a breakdown of this, you have where you can play it backwards, stop it, go forward 5 miles, go backwards 5 miles. Kind of just goes down the roadway of whatever travelway you've selected. Cool. All right, does anyone have any kind of questions regarding how you can search a record? Okay. If not, then we will go ahead and move on to how to add a record within the application. Now, you don't have to really enter in a travelway at all. You can just
Haley.
Yeah.
Jay has his hand raised. I don't know if he had a question on just what you were just discussing. Jay, do you want to unmute and ask?
Oh, sorry, I did not. I accidentally hit that.
Okay, perfect. All right, go ahead, Haley.
Okay. So whenever you open up an application, as far as adding goes, you don't have to enter a certain travelway or anything like that. You can just go down as soon as you open the application, you can go down and hit add. And this is where you will do your location and add all the information in for this record. So I do have an example that I'm going to show you to kind of make it realistic. So I'm not entering in just random items. Depending on what kind of, as far as my understanding goes, is that when you are entering in a record or the things that you receive, this information can come from a bunch of different items that you have. So I believe e-projects or some of them, whatever you're using will have some of these information. So like work type, construction date, whatever you're going off of should have that information, and that's how you can enter in this record. So for an example, we're going to do a project number. $11, okay. And then for the work type, we are going to just do guardrail. And then for the construction date, I'm just going to put today's date. Obviously, you'll have that on whatever you're using. And then if you have a letting date, you can enter that. The only thing that is actually going to be required for you to save this is going to be the ID and an activation date, which those are automatically going to be filled for you to enter these. So if for some reason you don't have like the work type or you don't have the construction date or some of this information and all you have is your travel way that you're adding, it will still let you do the travel way and it will still let you save the record if you don't have some of these areas filled in. These don't, unless they have a red asterisk by them, they're not actually required. But the more information you have, the easier that it can be to search a record later on. So now that we have these, I'm going to go ahead and add. You have two options where you can do by location or location on a map. Location on map is the same thing as kind of what we did when we were searching a record. It will bring up the map and it will bring a breakdown of where you can search what roadway you're wanting and then kind of go by logs. So I'm going to go with location and it's going to bring you up to the LRS. And we are going to go off of Travelway ID. This is going to bring IS 70 West, select Travelway logs. And then for this example, I'm going to show you how you can kind of break down using any kind of logs that you may have. So 2 and 1, okay. So I'm going to select this as my begin log. And then I'm just going to kind of scroll down and I'm going to select route D for my end log. And then we're going to hit select. Now it's going to pop up this where it says you can add opposing locations. So if you want east and west that this plan is going to be attached to for that location, you can do that. If not, you can just hit no and it's only going to do it for I-70 West. So I'm actually going to hit no on this. So once you have all of this information entered, you're just going to hit update. And it's going to bring you back to the main page. Now I'm going to show you how you can search through these columns that you have. One of the ways that I didn't talk about was if you display all, you can actually narrow down your search by Travelway ID. You can do the route, your begin and end logs. But you also have these customized columns as well. So any of these you can actually add. So if any of these columns that are already defaulted out here to be here, you can remove them and add them into this list, or you can add new things in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add this last change user in here. You just drag and you drop. And now I can actually search by my user ID. And it should bring me up the record that I actually just entered. All right. So before we move on to how to update or copy or delete, does anyone have any questions about adding a record? Okay. Yes, Arissa? Did I see that someone had a question about adding?
It was Arissa, but she's muted if you're talking, Arissa.
Oh, sorry. Did you hear my question?
No.
Yeah, I thought this was an automated process with as-built plans where it's automatically uploaded to the TMS data zone.
I can answer that. I had kind of mentioned that at the beginning. It is automated for new projects. So the as-built map was created about the time that eProjects was created. So any project that gets completed since the creation of eProjects will automatically get added to the map. What Haley's showing here is manual uploads. So for those older plans, or if you have something that didn't get automatically updated, that's what Haley is showing. But yes, correct. You are correct, Arissa. New projects get added automatically overnight through eProjects.
Thank you.
And then when was eProjects created? I don't know the exact year. I'm thinking it was around 2017-ish, 2016, 2017. Judy?
Yeah, I think it was 16. I just had a question about when the inspectors upload their set of as-built before I get them. I'm the final plans person for Central District. So they update, they upload a set for me to check.
Mm-hmm.
And then whatever, if I do some checking and I find some errors or things need to be added or changed, then it gets saved again. So is that a nightly thing? So is it being uploaded the first time it's put in? Because it may be a couple days before I check that set of plans.
No, once it has to go to the central office final plans processor before it gets added to the map. So you within,
Super.
yeah, so you within district will do your process as you always do, but it is the central office final plans processor who essentially checks a box in the metadata that triggers that overnight workflow to run. So it will not get added until that is done by central office.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I was just worried there was going to be multiple copies or not the last official copy.
Yep. Nope.
So
Good
perfect.
question, but yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right, I will go ahead and move on to how to update a record. So I've entered in, yeah, Russell, do you have a question?
Yeah, I'm curious. So when you create a record, are you then required to upload the as-bills for that record?
Like as in media?
Yeah, I mean, I see we're creating a record on the as-bills map here, but shouldn't there be plans tied in with that record, or my
Yes, yeah, and
Okay.
I will go over that on how to upload those plans to the record as far as media goes. Yeah, we'll definitely go over how to do that and how to attach it to this record.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So I've searched, used my user ID to search the record that we just entered. I am going to hit the little drop down here. You're going to select the record that you just entered or a record that you have searched that you need to update. The reason that you may need to update something if something was entered incorrectly or things need to be changed, you can always update the record. So for instance, we're going to hit update. And say that I entered in like the work type wrong and we need to change it. So we can go down and say we're going to change it to paving instead of guardrail, but everything else is staying the same. That's the only thing that was different. You change whatever needs to be changed, and then you're just going to hit update, and that will put it back in here, and it should change the record for you. So now that we have the record here, you can see that the work type has changed from guardrail to paving. Again, the update button is to change anything. You can change pretty much anything. If the project number has changed, work type, if the log miles are different than what they originally were, all of that can be changed by using the update. So you don't have to go in, delete it, and then add it again. You can always just go into the record and change what needs to be changed. Now, the other option is to copy a record. So say that you have a record in here that has, I don't know, maybe the same kind of work type and the same kind of project number, or something in there is the same, or majority of the record is the same for another thing that you need to enter. You can easily just select a record and then you can copy it, if it will allow me. Okay, let's see if I can get this to work. So see if I can just use a different example. All right. Okay, so now that you have your copy button there, you can just hit copy. It's going to bring up the edit form like it does for all the rest. And this is where you can change anything that needs to be changed as well. And then whatever needs to stay the same, you can just go through and update. So for instance, this one doesn't have a work type in it, but everything else needs to stay the same. You just need to add a work type. You can go down and you can click whatever work type you need, select it, and then hit update. You also, it looks like it doesn't have any kind of log miles. If you need to add or change those, you can do the same thing where you pull it up, enter your log miles, and then you can save it. Copy is just an easy way to avoid having to re-enter everything in if most things are going to stay the same. Now we do have, the next thing on is we do have a delete. Now, when you delete a record out of here, it doesn't necessarily go away permanently. It will actually, once you delete a record, it will have you verify that you really want to actually delete it. And then it will go to our inactive data, and I'll show you how to get to that. Okay, so find the record that I entered earlier. Okay, while it's thinking. So once you find the record that you're needing and you doesn't need to be in here, you have the delete button. Like I said, once you hit delete, it will give you a box up at the top asking if you verifying that you want to actually delete the record. And then up at the top, you have where you have your active data, your inactive, and your all. So the all is going to show active and inactive. When you click inactive, any records that you have deleted will show up in here, and they will usually be in red. See if it will show me everything. All right. Well, it doesn't seem like it wants to work today. So anyways, the inactive is going to still keep that record in there. It's just not going to show on your active side. And you can always go back in and reactivate that record or change it if you need to. So if you delete something or accidentally delete something, it doesn't go away permanently. It still will be in here in like a history table for everyone to see. Does anyone have any questions as far as how to add, copy, delete, any of that? If not, we'll kind of go through some of the other tabs at the bottom. You'll see where you have view on map, your ARAM viewer. You can export to PDF or export to Excel. So depending on what kind of records you have in here, if you're needing to view where the record is on the map, that's kind of basically what it is. You click on a record, you're going to click the view on map, and it should bring up a map with that area highlighted for where your as-built plans are. And it will zoom right in and it'll be highlighted in red here. You have your ARAM viewer, so whatever log miles are, once you hit ARAM viewer, it should bring it up directly to that section of roadway. And like we went over earlier, you can play it, you can go forward, go backwards, whatever you're needing within ARAN, you can do it through there. And then your export to PDF, if once you click that, it should come up in the right-hand corner asking if you want to download. You just hit open file and it should come up in PDF form. It's going to work the same way with export to Excel. It will bring you that information, and I can just kind of show you what it will look like when you open the file. So we'll have your ID, your route, begin and end logs. So we'll just have that information. So if you're needing to print it out, it will have all that for you. All right, so we're going to come down to these lower grid areas where you have your as-built bridge, your plan history, your non-T-way, and your media. And we'll kind of go through those, and then I will get to, when I get to media, I'll show you how you can upload and attach media to a record. As far as the as-built bridge goes, basically what this is just going to show other information pertaining to that record that's not shown above. So if you have like a structure design number or anything like that, it's going to be in this lower grid area, depending on what kind of record you have. Now, your as-built history, this is just going to show any changes that were made to that record, and who the changes were by and when they were by. So you'll see my user ID, you'll see the last change date that they were done today, and any other changes that were made specifically to that record. So you always have a history of what's been changed and what's been updated. Now, your non-T-way is going to show basically anything that's an opposing record, anything that has multiple locations. It's going to show in this grid area down here. So if you have one that has multiple locations for a record, you'll see it down here. This just kind of gives you more information that you're not going to see in the above table, basically. Now, as far as media goes, so our media tab is where you can see all media that has been attached to a record. This is where you can add, you can update, you can add, or you can also view the actual plans itself. So I'm going to show you how to get this entered. So up top, once you have the record that you're needing, I'm going to use the one that I entered earlier. We're going to come down here and we're going to hit add. And it's going to bring you to your media tab. This is where you're going to browse. Okay, so since I'm on a different computer, it's not going to have any of the files that I had saved, but I'll kind of walk through it to explain how you're going to do it. So you're just going to hit browse. It will open up to the files wherever you keep your media files at on your desktop or anything. You're just going to have them uploaded here. Once they're uploaded, you're going to put your description in here. So whatever it is, for this instance, say we would add I-70 and then the project number or something like that, whatever the description is for that media. You're going to put the media date in here. And then you're going to put the document type. So the document type, if you hit the drop down, it's going to give you two. So you can do roadway plans or bridge plans, whichever they are. And then you'll hit save. Once you hit save, then it's going to populate down here of what the actual media is. And then that's where you can view it. So since I don't have anything to actually add, I'm going to find a different example that does already have media attached. Sure why it's not. Okay. Give me just a second here. Sometimes I wish that these
I think
were
it might be because you have your criteria at the bottom set to your last name still.
not seeing it on my end. Sometimes these can be a little touchy. Okay, let me just see if I can refresh this page and we'll try it from there. There we go. Okay. So, like I said, since I don't have any, I'm not on my actual computer and I don't have any of the examples to actually upload, I'm going to find one that will have some media attached to it and I can kind of show you how that's going to work. All right, give me just a second here. We are going to. This. I apologize for this. That usually works pretty good, except for when you actually need it to.
Okay, Haley, to fill time, I'll also kind of address a general question.
Okay.
And is this already out to the public? And so whenever we say this, I'm going to refer to the as-built map itself, which Haley will be showing here in a little bit. And yes, that is available to the public, and it has been for several years. So in theory, an external partner would go to our external website. They can pull up these as-built plans via their PDFs. Unless it's a bridge, then they have to go through the sunshine request process to get those. But yep, the as-built plan map is active and live. And I think each district probably handles how they get requests from the public differently. But in general, if a MoDOT employee gets a request from somebody out in the public for an as-built plan, I would actually direct them to the map first and have them try to find what they're looking for there themselves before, we spend any time or effort on trying to retrieve it for them, because that was the intent of this map.
Yeah, and to kind of go off of that, I'm actually creating kind of a step-by-step of how those external users or the public can find that stuff on the map. As far as the map goes, and I'll kind of go more into that, is external users can see roadway plans, but they can't see bridge plans, and that's part of a security thing. But yeah, I am working on kind of a step-by-step manual that can be sent out to public users that do ask for some of this on how they can do it themselves. Okay, so now that I have media up, so go off of this. So once media has been attached to a record, click the record. Down here, you have the media tab and you can see the media that's been entered. If you kind of do this drop down, it's going to have some of this, the district, county, what route it is, and the project number that's attached to it. If you want to view a record, you'll have where you can view it or view the media. You can update a media record that has been entered already. Basically, if this is more used for any kind of additional tags. So if you have additional tags, say like the bridge number that you want to add, or another city that it's attached to, structure ID, any of that, you can select these. And then you can hit select and it will add it in here. So once you enter a bridge number, and then click save, it will automatically get saved to this record and it will be under here where you have the tag names. You also can delete the media as well, and it kind of goes off the same as when you're deleting a record. It's not permanently deleted. It will go into the inactive area where you can see that. And it will still be there that if you need to have it reactivated, you can, but it's not going to be permanently deleted. You also can do the view on map. That's going to kind of work the same way as the view on map on the record. It's basically just going to pull up the map of where the record is located on a travelway. Does anyone have any questions as far as media goes? Okay, if not, then we'll go ahead and move on over to our TMS maps. So on the TMS homepage, you'll find where you can do TMS maps. You'll kind of come down here. Now, a quick overview is you have your layers here that will have all the information. That'll bring up a legend box on the side. So we're going to go down to travelway data, and this is where you're going to find the as-built plans layer. See right here, you're going to click, and it's going to bring up in blue all of the plans that are on TMS maps that you can view. You also have your, what I like to call the binocular tool, but it's your search toolbar. This is where you can kind of narrow down your search more. You can do by county, district, city, street address, your travelway by ID, your free text, your coordinates, where you can kind of do your longitude and latitude, your intersections, any other way that you need to search by, you can. So for this one, let's just do big poll. And it will highlight, it will zoom in and highlight Cole County in yellow. And you can kind of zoom in here to one of the plans. So we're going to click up here is your identify button. If you select on that travelway, this is going to give you all of your extra information. So your ID, your activation date, travelway ID, all of that is going to be within this area. Your letting date. So basically anything that is on the record that was entered into the as-built plans application should have that information in within TMS or the TMS maps as well. Does anyone have any questions as far as TMS maps? Anything that they want to see that they don't know about, any kind of extra search or anything like that? Okay. Then we will move on to the data zone map. So again, TMS homepage, you'll have data zone down here. And then you'll go to design. And then you have your as-built plans.
And
Now,
Haley, Haley,
yeah.
for the users, this is where this is what the external partners see, because as you guys notices, she went out to the modot.org or rerouted her there. So this is what our external partners see.
This is actually what both internal and
Correct.
external see. So they're going to be exactly the same. The map is going to be the same. The only difference is, like I said before, external users can see roadway plans, but they cannot see bridge plans. So pretty much everything that you see here is what external users are able to see. They can do all that. They just won't be able to see the bridge plans. So here's where you can search by job number, bridge number, travelway name, any of that. This is going to kind of be the same function, search function as what you had in the application itself. So any external users can search by any of that to bring it up, find it on here. You have your layers here, so they can select different layers that they're wanting to see on the map as well. You have your district contacts. So for each district, you have your contacts. These usually go to like an email address to ask questions or anything like that, or directly to a group or directly to a certain person. If for some reason these contacts need to be updated, you can just send an email or chat to myself or Deanne Weberg, and we can always get that updated, put a ticket in to change who the contacts need to be for this. Now, as far as searching on the map, you can search through here. You can kind of zoom into whatever area you're needing. If you click on a route, it's going to give you this box. This is going to give you your job number and all that information. So again, route, county, all of that, your letting date, construction date, work type. And then here's where you can see your plans. Now, this little symbol means that it's roadway plans. So if you click on that, it should bring it up for you where you can go through and see what the plans are. Now, if it had bridge plans attached to it as well, it would give you a little bridge symbol here and then another link to see those plans. So depending on what record's on here, if there's multiple plans attached to that record, it's going to show them here. These toggles up front, you can get rid of your shields, you can add them back, you can get rid of any kind of these legends that are in the area. If you're wanting to remove them, you can always change this from roads to aerial depending. So like I said, this map is kind of the same as what external users are going to be able to see. They just won't be able to see those bridge plans, but everything else should be the same. Does anyone have any questions regarding the data zone map?
What I'll add to that, Haley, is this has been out there for several years, but it is also a work in progress. So we've made several different enhancements over the years to the map. So if there's things that you think should be better or different, or something's not working quite right, let us know, let IS know, or let me, Ashley Booster, know, and we'll work with IS and or TMS team to make those enhancements.
Yeah, you can always reach out to Dan or myself as well, and we will look into the map and any changes that need to be made. We can always reach out to the developers to and enter a ticket to have things changed or added or updated as far as the map goes. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the home page here. And I'm going to show you where you can find our manual and our metadata. So basically what the metadata is I'm the one that usually creates this. We go through SQL that will have kind of the name and definitions of kind of what's used for within the application. For instance, it just kind of gives you a definition of what travelway ID means for as-built plans. So if you go to resources and do TMS metadata, it'll bring you to this folder, and then it's going to be under asset management. And then you'll have your views, and then you have your as-built plans view. And again, what this is just kind of definitions for what the purpose of this view is for, and what each thing, so what your begin log, the definition for the description for that, your activation date, all of that. Some people may not know what this is or what they're needing it for, but if you want to know, that's where it's at. The same thing goes, you go to resources and you'll go down to our training manuals. Again, you'll find it under asset management. And then you'll have your as-built plans instruction manual. Now I have a new one. I made some adjustments to the manual. So the one that's out here right now is not the fully updated one. The new one will be uploaded by the end of this week, probably, with some of those changes. But this is where you'll find the manual. And like I said, this manual will give you our contact information. It will kind of give you an overview of what it is. And then it will give you exactly step-by-step instructions of how to use the application. It will go over TMS maps, ARAN viewer, how to upload media. It goes through everything that we just went over. So if for some reason you're needing it, it will walk you through on how to do it. And then if you have more questions, you can always reach out to Deanne and myself and we'll assist you any way we can. Does anyone have any questions regarding the manual or anything else that we've gone over? Anything that you would like me to show again? Yeah, Russell.
Would you show that again, how to get to the manual? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's no problem. So TMS homepage, you just go to resources, training materials, and then it will be under asset management. So if you just click that, you'll find the as-built plans instruction manual.
I'll drop that link in the chat just so everybody has it in the
That's
the history.
That would be great. Okay, so as far as any question goes, so if you guys ever have any kind of issues with the data zone, TMS maps, the application itself, any issues within TMS, you can reach out to Deanne or myself and we'll be able to help you with that. You can find our information either by going to the Ask TMS question. It'll put your email address in there. You can type in whatever question you need and it will come directly to our TMS help desk email. And then up top you have where it says contact us. If you click on that, you're going to have our phone numbers and our names. You can call us, you can email us, you can send us a chat. Any way that you want to get a hold of us, you can do that. And we're here at 7:30 to 4 every day. And we're always happy to help for sure. All right. Yeah, Judy.
I just have a couple quick questions. So for sections of road that get touched multiple times, are they, can you see each set of plans for every time that they were there? I mean, is there going to be like a, like just say the interstate, the Interstate 44 gets touched multiple times. So there'll be multiple sets of plans and it could be, the exact same spot. So how does that show up on the map?
Yeah, so as far as the data zone map, it should show up whenever you click on that area, whatever media or plans have been attached to that record. I mean, you can attach as many plans as you would like on a specific record or a specific section of roadway, and it will show you in that drop down. So whenever you click on that route, where it had the link for the plans, if there's multiple plans there, it will have a link for each one that you can click.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I'll add to that too, for the automated process through e-projects, the overnight process, it will use the SIMS data and TMS data to land in the appropriate locations. If there's multiple locations of a project, it'll land the as-built plan in all of those locations automatically. Yeah. So if you see something that doesn't seem to be working correctly, again, let us know. But
okay, gotcha. And then I just had a quick question too. You actually clicked on one of my old jobs and it was from 2010. So who who's responsible for putting the plans in prior to 2016 when e-project started?
I can speak to that, Judy, as well. So each district is supposed to be working on adding the old plans. So prior to this map and automated process, so prior to e-projects, each district is working on adding them. I'm not sure who that person is in Central District. It looked like there was an email group on the map for Central District. I'm not sure who all's part of that. But
Okay.
yes, each district's responsible for adding old plans.
Okay, perfect. Okay. That's all I had. Thanks.
Yeah. All right.
Actually, I
Does
think
anyone
it's, I think
else have
it's
any
Cindy
questions?
in Central District, Judy. I think it's Cindy, if I remember correctly. In design.
Okay. Gotcha. Thanks.
All right. Anyone else have any other questions? Okay. If not, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing here. I don't have anything else for you. I think we kind of went over everything. If no one has any questions or anything else they want to add, then I believe we're done for the day, and everyone have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Haley, and thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.